H really is out here doing the Lord's work. Listen, when you're out there, pants down, schlong in hand.
Okay.
Sir, I'm trying to have a conversation, please. Sir, stay out of my business. This is what happens when you get in my business. America.
Yeah, well, he'll kill you. Watch out. I told you. What did I just say?
You don't know me. You don't know me like that. You don't know what I know. Welcome to my brain. All are welcome. All are welcome.
Hey, little chunks. Welcome back to another filthy little chunky stream. I hope you had a good holiday weekend with I guess today being President's Day, but I don't get that day off. But I was more thinking of Valentine's Day. I hope you had a good Valentine's Day regardless of your current situation. I had a fantastic weekend. It was really good. Ate a whole bunch of food, did a whole bunch of things, got my blood stolen. So all around, pretty good time. But if you've noticed from the title of this stream, this is going to be a bit of a different stream. It has a lot of time to think and to evaluate. But I've been kind of, not just this weekend, I actually didn't think about it too much this weekend, but I've been thinking about some stuff over time, so I kind of want to go over that. I kind of want to do some new stuff, stuff that I'm interested in, yada yada yada, all that good stuff, and more. Sorry, reading a text. But anywhoozles, yeah, so we're going to be doing basically this stream is going to be a bit of a different stream where I'm going to be talking about stuff for the future, as well as creating some stuff that I wanted to do. So it's not going to be a gameplay stream. That will resume on Wednesday, which will probably just be another return to, I haven't done in a while. I do Horde Madness Mondays, but I haven't done free play Frenzy in a while. So maybe I'll look into that. But anywhoozles, I mostly wanted to take this time to go over several things that have been weighing on my mind. Well, just in general, I guess, I don't know. I guess it all started at the beginning. Before I do that, I would like to give an update on one of my projects. We are in week 3 now of this, and I don't see this going wrong. I don't see it going wrong at all. If you don't know, I've made my little cocktails that I can put in a bottle, pre-can, seal them up, and then stick them in the fridge. And then when I need them, I just take them out and I shake them up. And so I did a test. I have 3 more bottles in my fridge right now that I did 40 weeks ago. Actually, it's been a little bit over 3 weeks, but that's here nor there. So I'm putting in there to test it to see if the flavor or anything changes over the 2 different cocktails that I made. Obviously, in the future, I'll have to test it for future cocktails, but I doubt I'll go as deep as more than a month, which is what I'm going to be doing for this test. But anyways, this is test 3. Looks fine. I'm sure it's going to taste fine, but here we go. I'm already pretty much calling this endeavor a success. One of my first successes of the new year. Here we go. Ooh. Oh, I forgot this is my full one. Ooh. Smells good. Smells good. I'm telling you, I don't think it's gonna be a problem. To new beginnings. Yep, tastes just as good. If anything, it tastes a little bit more robust. Nah, I think it tastes the same. Tastes the same. This is like a good actual shaken cocktail. I think the key is to actually shaking the cocktail and then putting it in and then letting it sit. But anywho, so speaking of goals that I wanted to do this year, there's a lot of them. That was one. I think we're pretty much 90% done on that one. Already 2 months in, knocking it out of the park. But some other stuff I want to do would be, I was looking at, I guess in general, I've been getting disenchanted with YouTube lately. Just in that, like, I don't know, I don't want to watch it anymore. Like, I just don't have the desire. Like, if you don't know, which you probably wouldn't know, I basically only watch YouTube. I'm someone who hasn't had cable forever. I don't have any subscriptions. It's just the internet. That's the only thing I pay for because, you know, it's a poor, you know, I can only afford one, so I'm going to choose the internet. And so YouTube is just like my main source of if I'm going to watch something, or mostly it's been stuff I put in the background while I work, or, you know, yeah, pretty much while I work and do stuff. And I don't know, the past couple months, really, I mean, it probably started like towards the end of last year. I just don't even want to put it in the background. Like, I'm just getting real sick and tired of it, I guess. I'm just getting real sick and tired of, like, I don't know how to I've been trying to figure out a long time just how to put this in words. Because I was going to do a video on it, but then I was like, I don't really want, that kind of like adds to the things that's making me sick of all this. Not sick, just tired, I guess. Sick is a strong word. I'm just getting real sick of the whole, you know, YouTube vibe of just the type of videos that are being put up as, you know, YouTube for a long time now. But I mean, it's weird that still some companies haven't realized that YouTube is the future of everything entertainment wise. But as they start to realize that, there seems to be this real push of like catering towards bigger, you know, companies and organizations, and this is kind of bled over into even like, you know, the regular creators, where it's just like, even if it's done like sometimes it's done on a super level, but sometimes it's done on like a macro level, where it's just, you know, the little like doing things to trick people's brains into watching your stuff. And it's just, I know that's like a, you know, if you're any part on YouTube, you know, the whole like, why does everyone have like the, you know, the dick sucking face, you know, in their thumbnail? You know, I used to do that too. Like, oh, it's because, you know, your stupid monkey brain, you'll click on it more. And it used to like not bother me, but I don't know, just as time goes on, just every little thing, you know, or, you know, the stupid titles where it's like, I eat every, I don't know, pizza at Pizza Hut, but then you click on the video and they only like, by every, I mean 7. I do all of this. I get trapped. Blah, blah, blah. And it's just, those little tiny things are just starting to like annoy me more and more and more. And I don't think I'm the only one that feels that way, because I feel like that is what's been spurring these huge kind of like blow-ups in channels that are like, for example, I'm sure you've heard of the Outdoor Boys. You know, it's a guy, Luke, who, you know, he goes out into the wilderness and he just camps in pretty crazy situations, but it's not like, the pull isn't the crazy situation, it's just him. He's just a guy who, you know, does not that very, you know, he's getting better at filming, but, you know, it's just him and a GoPro, and he's just walking out and just, you know, not doing the little tricks, not, you know, to try to get you to pay attention or stay engaged. He's just out there, and, you know, he's blown up. And there's another channel, I forget his name, Steve Wallace, I think, or whatever. Another guy just camping stuff. I think you might have noticed he's the one who does like urban camping, where it's like stealth camping. And again, just a regular Canadian dude, not great at filming, just not great at entertaining, just kind of just out there, just being himself. And I think there's a real pull back to that, which is what YouTube used to be a long, long time ago. As someone who used to post YouTube videos before they were bought by Google. I think there was only a year they were out before Google bought them. Yeah, I'm just getting real tired of it. And I had some like extra time. I didn't, but I'm more efficient at doing all this stuff, you know, working a full-time job. putting out my review videos, streaming 3 to 4 days a week, plus making all the shorts and, you know, having a life. Like I said, I had a really good Valentine's Day, and days afterwards. But, yeah, I had some extra time because I'm just getting more efficient at that, faster. And my first thing was like, well, I like making YouTube videos. Because the reason I make YouTube videos is because I like it. I've always made short videos. I used to make little videos when I was a child with a huge camera just for myself, you know, before the internet even existed, let alone YouTube. So that's why I like doing this. And so my initial thing was like, oh, I'll just do that. I'll just do more videos. But I got to thinking about it, and I was like, I don't actually want to do that. Like, I do want to make videos, but I like the review videos that I do. I like the video games that I play and the streams that I do, and I like all those things. And I didn't want to add all the new thing because I was kind of steering more towards like, okay, well, let's do stuff that like it gets engagement. Let's do stuff that blah blah blah. Let's do da 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 da. And it just put a real sour taste in my mouth. And that's why I didn't post like obviously I was busy because of the holiday, but I could have easily put out, you know, review videos. I could have easily put out you know, other videos and things like that, but I just was like, I don't want to. Like, I really just didn't want to. And I wanted to focus more on things that I like creating. And for me, I think it's not going to change necessarily too much what I do. Like, I'm still going to put out review videos because I love that it gets me going to movies, because it encourages me to go see movies that I want to see and maybe ones that I wouldn't have seen, as well as it hones in my storytelling capabilities, because by reviewing them I get better and better, and not just at reviewing, but you know, critical thinking, but also stories, because that's one of the things I'm going to be focusing more now on is creating stories and writing again, which I'm super excited to get back into writing and actually finish something this time instead of just kind of half writing it and then letting it go. But what's that mean for all of you? What's that mean for the stream? For this stream, I have a lot of ideas along with, you know, this. And one of those ideas is one of the things I've been kind of gravitating towards in making, as along the lines of making videos, which I still don't know if it's going to work out, and we'll see in the next coming days if it does bear any fruits, if you will. I'm really pushing more towards, which again is not surprising because a lot of people have been pushing towards, is getting more back towards analog. I've talked about me getting into, you know, you can't see it because it's in the dark, but there's a film camera behind me. Been getting into that, but I'm really into shooting video and making it look like it was shot from like a 90s video camera. Like I was talking about, like the big cameras that I used to film with. And there's some big push where, like, I'm sure you've seen on TikTok, you know, cameras that are made crappy from China to not necessarily mimic that. I mean, they are mimicking that, but they're not putting intent into it. They're just making shitty cameras. So my plan was to take an old camera, not 90s old camera. Stop it crazy, because I wanted it to be small. But my basically was to take, I think this was my first GoPro that I got. This is the GoPro Hero 4. Hero 4, you can believe it or not, I think I paid $300 for this when it came out. And that was $300 old money, so that was actually worth something. What are they at now? A GoPro, do they even do Hero versus the regular? What are they at, like 11, 12, 13? I don't know. I wouldn't get a GoPro anyways if I was going to buy a new modern one. There's so many other better stuff out there. Not that GoPro isn't good. But anyway, so my plan was I want to take this, use it to film, because again, we don't care about quality, and then take it and edit it so it looks, which I've done in the past. If you've seen, you know, snippets of videos that I've done where I have settings that I'm probably gonna have to retweak, but I can take film or camera or video and make it look like it was filmed from a camera from the 1990s. And so that's what I want to do. I want to see if that can produce anything. If anything, mostly I want to do it for my own, like making videos, memories for myself. But I am curious to see. That's why I'm not sure if it's actually gonna produce anything that I will post. I'm getting more into doing things and, you know, just for myself, and not everything has to be posted online. Which, I mean, if you do follow me on any of my social medias, I don't post anything anyways, other than my funny stuff. Mostly just my little short videos that I really like to make. So, my plan is to have this, and I'm going to keep it I'm going to film it vertically, just because I like the idea of filming everything vertically now. I just like, not because we see, you know, like, not because I'm like, oh, I want it to be seen on a phone or something like that. I just like, you know, because for all my life, I filmed at, you know, it was 4:3 first, but now, you know, 16 by 9 aspect ratio. And, you know, honestly, it's just an interesting, tilting it, making it 9:16 is just an interesting thing to do. Plus, I'm going to cut it into a square going back to 4:3. Anyways, so it doesn't really matter which way I do it. So I just think it's more interesting vertical. But what my plan is, as you've seen, I've screwed it in. What I want to do is I want to modify this to look like, I'm not going to modify the innards because I honestly just don't have the technical prowess. I don't really see the point into doing that. I mean, if this thing shoots 1080p, probably close to 1080p. I'm sure it doesn't because this is one of the first, you know, GoPros that they made. But again, I'm going to reduce the quality. But what I want to do is modify the outside. I've already done one modification. I've glued this little piece in here at the bottom that doesn't obstruct anything on the side, so I can, what I'm going to do is have this adapt. This is just a tripod head. A small, really small one, like the smallest ones you can find. So my plan is to basically take this, but I'm going to modify and I'm going to change it. Here, let me bring up some things. I have some reference. I want to make it look like, basically, I'm just doing a cosmetic change. I want to make it look like, bring some up. Like I said, I got some concepts photos that I will like. I also kind of made some too as well, but here, let me flip over to, what is it, 3? I think it's 3. Does 3 have the theme song on it? It does. It really does. Alright, so these are like some concept that I used AI art to create, which is one of the best uses for AI art. It's just throwing in random words and be like, make a concept, and then taking that and actually making it into a thing, a real thing. Because AI art can't do. It's never gonna do what you really want it to do. It can get close, but I don't think it's ever gonna want to do. Hey, look at that! A proposal. Here's my counter proposal. You ready? Are you ready for my counter proposal? It's ban. Counter proposal received. Oh, crazy. Yeah, I'm sorry. You're gonna keep seeing that because I can't take it down. But if you're on Kick, you know that person got banned. I really wish I could add to block list. Yeah. Oh, I can. Oh, I can. Yeah, but it doesn't go away from Twitch one. That's the one downside of streaming to 3. You can't really control that. But any hoozles. Let me get one more up there. There we go. So, my plan is I want to paint plus add things to this to make it look like kind of like what you know, people thought in the 1980s what advanced technology was going to look like. That's my design. And I already picked my color scheme, as you see right here. I want to do the cream, the light, you know, the dirty cream with some orange and some black accents, which I can use because this is already black, and I can pop off the top and front, stuff like that. But so that's what I do. I think I'm gonna use gosh, I used to remember what it was called, but it's the type of backing that's in when you want to frame a picture. There's a term for it. It's just been a long time since I've been in school, so I honestly can't remember what it's called. But the stuff that you can like bevel the edge and shape. And so I think I want to keep this fairly light. I mean, it's already, I mean, if I take, you know, minus this little, the tripod end, if I take that off, take this off, you know, this piece. This is already super light, and I want to also design a way to magnet to myself, clip it onto myself using magnets. I already got some of these little tiny boys that are really strong. So I'm gonna probably put. I'm concerned about that though, because there's a screen on the back of this, which is good for me, but like I'm kind of worried about attaching these super magnets to it. I don't know if it's gonna really like mess with the. Again, I'm not very versed in, you know, extreme technological stuff. I'm just wondering if that's gonna really screw it. It shouldn't be, because it's so far away from the battery and the memory card. And I don't know if that would mess it up. I know magnets used to mess up old technology like tapes and things, but that was some old stuff. I don't really think that these will mess it up, but I guess we're all gonna learn. But anyways, I want to be able to clip it to my shirt to carry it. So, because yeah, my main thing that I want to do with this is record. Like, I'm doing a lot of stuff, you know, going out and stuff with friends and doing fun stuff, and you know, I want to record them for memories for my own sake. Like what people used to actually use videos for, you know, they used to call them home recordings. And so I kind of want to get into that. Like I said, maybe if the quality comes out, if I could think of interesting video things to do, I would like to maybe do that in the future and post it. But for now, I just kind of want to make a cool little cam. I want to keep it discreet and small so I can clip it on me. But as well, I do want it to like look cool. I want it to look like this. I want it to look like old, but 1980s thought future technology was going to be. That's what I want. That's what I want it to look like. So I'm planning on, what I want to do for this stream is I just want to map it out and design it. Normally this would be something that I would try to do in my own time. Since, I mean, like, how do I even have time? Like I said, in everything that I do. But in the effort, which is why I took all the time to explain about YouTube and whatnot, and my feelings towards it recently, is because I'm going to use more time for my streaming for things like that. Not all of it. It's still going to be like Friday nights are still going to be gaming. I'm probably going to game majority of nights. Like, I'm waiting for that new Yakuza game, the ridiculous pirate one that's coming out. Unfortunately, it comes on Thursday, so this week. So I won't be able to play it till probably Monday, unless I'm able to do a weekend stream. Maybe, we'll see. But maybe we'll do a weekend stream. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, so I'm planning on doing that. I'm still gonna do my reviews. I want to see what's coming out this weekend is the. Oh, sorry, I'm playing with these magnets and I shouldn't be. I want to see the Stephen King, based on his book, not his movie. The Monkey, because it's been being done by Neon, and if you've watched my videos, you know, like, Neon has been killing it. They're 3 for 3 out of their, you know, horror movie, their last 3 horror movies. So can they do a 4 for 4? I don't know. We're gonna find out though. Super excited for that. But yeah, so for this stream, I'm basically just gonna be planning out designing, because I like to design it. Obviously, I don't just want to freehand it. So that's basically what the stream's gonna be, so that I don't, you know, waste time or don't have to find time in between all my craziness to do this. So I'm gonna design it. That's basically what the stream's gonna be. Is me designing it. I'm also gonna talk about my Valentine's Day stuff and all the things I went through. I had my ordeal, which didn't go as usual, but that's the plan. So first thing and foremost, put all this junk away. Move it. There we go. Put my drink over here. So first thing I need to get is like I need to get the dimensions of GoPro. Let's see. GoPro. I guess I don't need this in my ear. I feel like I put that in my ear just in case, but annoying, and I don't need it. GoPro for dimension. Okay. It's spell. Let's see. Kind of hoping for this. This is what I was looking for. Aha! Perfect. This is what I need. Oh, you know what? I didn't think about that. I may need to take pictures on my own. I thought I may have done that once because it's only going to show 2 sides. But I really need to show it all the sides. Well, I guess this will do for now because I can kind of guess. Even though I've kind of screwed this up, maybe I shouldn't have glued that on already, but I guess I could rip it off. It's only super glued. It's only super glued. I did it. I glued it on to test it out. But honestly, the way I have it, I could just easily go around. All right. Well, you know what? Let's just take this. Let me open a thing here. There we go. Oh, I guess I had my ear for... it's fine. It's fine. Let me open up a project folder, if we will. Okay. Future GoPro. Oh, and I hit caps lock, so it's all screwed up. Future GoPro. Alright. Let's just steal it. Dang it, it's an AFV. I really hate that all the photos on the internet now, they've been changing them to AVIFs. And I'm sure that's, I assume, I actually don't know. I assume that's for size references. Wow, I kind of wish I had this little tiny one. That'd be funny, but it doesn't have the screen on the back, so I'm glad. But it connects to my phone, so that's a nice thing that like I have a phone that connects to all this. I'm looking to see if there's any better diagrams. Let's see. Looking for like all sides. I don't think anyone's gonna do that. No, they're not going to do that. What was this? AliExpress. You can still buy them. How much are these bad boys going for? $90. Still up there. 200 less than what I, paid for. But I got this like 12 years ago or something. So I don't know why you just want to buy an action camera. Like one of those cheap action cameras, probably better. All right. Anyways, the AVF thing is so annoying. I have to do this because I pull images from the internet a lot, and it's so annoying to have to do this extra step. I assume this is for like size, even though there's probably other ways to get smaller images. I have a theory that it's not only just for size, but it's so that they could try to stop people from using their images. But it's like we're always gonna get your images. It's just like that's just always gonna happen. So like stop being a little bitch about it. It's so annoying to have to do these like extra steps. Anyways, yeah, you just look up anytime you need a good rule of thumb. Anytime you need come across a file that you can't open, just type it into the internet and then just look for like convert it to whatever, and it usually you always find someone that can do it. That's a good rule of thumb. But anyways, there we go. All right, yeah. Well, I guess for the start we can just I guess I could just guess on this side. So this is showing this side, which has the thing. I don't have to convert millimeters into inches because that's how America rolls. And I have to look at what can be blocked because there's two little like things here, which I think are either speakers or where the microphone is. Excuse me, not that I'm going to use the microphone in this, but and there's like one button on this side that's not covered. There's 3 buttons in total that I don't want to cover, and then obviously I don't want to cover the screen. So, but I think this will be a good start because I can start with this, and then we can go from there. Let's bring this. I guess I want to bring this into. Probably easier to do it in Illustrator. Probably would be easier to do it in Illustrator. But as we go through this, let's talk about my sweet weekend. What is this? Oh gosh, it's huge. Oh, it's ginormous. It's so ginormous that. Is this squishing? It is squishing. Okay. Yeah, I get it. I get it. I get it. There we go. There we go. Yeah. So yeah, for Valentine's Day, I did a lot of fun stuff. It was kind of like we split it up. For Valentine's Day, I like to go out. I actually usually do 2 parts. Usually a 2-parter because I like to go out, but I don't like to go out on Valentine's Day or the nearest weekend to it. So, like in this case, obviously, it would have been last weekend. I don't want to fight with the, fight the crowd. I don't want. It's not a good time for me. It's not a good time for me. It's not a good time for my girl. Like I just don't like it. So I usually will schedule the outing part depending on whatever weekend the farthest one away. So last weekend, the Super Bowl weekend, basically, we went out. And it was really fun. There's a bunch, I live in Southern California, and there's a bunch of these really cool like speakeasies and stuff. And so we went to one that was themed after a 1920s Asian apothecary. And it was really, really cool. They had some really cool cocktails, which is some of them I'm definitely going to steal for my own because they were just super cool. And one of the nice things about, modern like restaurants and stuff where they have to list everything in their food and whatnot for, obvious transparency reasons, but it makes taking recipes a lot easier. So I like that. But yeah, so we went there. I had several drinks. The vibe was cool. You get like, it was basically like most speakeasies that I go to are like really, really small. This one was actually quite big, enough to accommodate a lot of people, but it was still like time, so you had like 2 hours there, which I think was enough time. 2-hour slots is actually I think the right amount of time, because I was able to order like 3 drinks and like some food. They had food stuff, but we were gonna go eat afterwards, and it was just a fun vibe. So I kind of wish I had this camera already made beforehand, just kind of put me in, kind of forced me to get ahead, or kind of pushed me into why I want to do this in the first place. RGB doesn't matter. I'm gonna sneeze. I'm trying to hold back a sneeze this whole time. So we went to that, and that was cool. And then we went to this. Well, we were gonna go have dinner at this dumpling place that like does like semi-fusion dumplings, where they take like bao and kind of make it into, which is the outside fluffiness of some dumplings, and they make it into kind of like a taco, and they put the stuff in. They do regular dumplings too, which they had soup dumplings and all that stuff. But they were we went, and they had like there were 16 people in front of us, and there was this chicken place that was a little bit down the road. So we put our names in, went to that chicken place just to try it, and the chicken place was really, it was really, really good. It was just high quality wings. Unfortunately, like I'm sad because these places was quite a bit of ways from me. Like 30, 30 minutes away from where I live, so not very attainable. At least not for me. I don't feel it's gonna drive 30 minutes for that. But I guess that's kind of a good thing, because if that was near me, I'd be munching it down 24/7. So I guess that's a good thing for me. But yeah, they had really good stuff. They also had like good little cocktails. I had a lot of little cocktails. So they had like a soju yuzu cocktail, which was pretty good there. But yeah, they had their wings were just really, really like high quality, good ingredients, freshly made. So we had some there, and then we ran back to the other place, the something place to eat. And it was good. Like I said, the food there was, again, really, really good. And by that time, like I was, I'm not being swayed by, being somewhat tipsy and hungry because we had just eaten the wings. No, the place was really, really, it was so good. It was so good. Just the meats and the sauces and the way they made it was, again, I am both sad and happy that that it is not near me, because I would find any excuse to go there. But yeah, but it being 30 minutes away kind of, humbles you a bit. So, oops, let's take this, and I want this to be, I should probably make this the correct size, because I can use this as a blueprint. Okay, let's, what did you just do? Make a clipping max. Thank you. Okay, so we're gonna have to do conversions because we're in America, and I guess I could just measure mine. This we could just measure mine because I have it here. They do have a ruler. That would probably be. Ooh, where did it go? I literally just had it. Why do things get there? It is. Why do things keep disappearing? Let's verify that. What'd they say it was? 2.28 inches, eh? Let's take the old architects. Let's see. 2.23? Yeah. About. I would say it's. I wouldn't say it's. I wouldn't. It's 2 1/4 of an inch. Not bigger than a fourth. No way it's. Yeah, this is 2.25. This is why we verify. This is why we verify. Okay. So the nice thing is we can take this and I can go in and say 2.25 inches by, let's see. Ooh, what you got? What we got? Oops, wrong. By. Okay, so this one is a little bit over 1.5. So this is 1. 9/16. This is why inches is not great. Here we go. Oops. Let's do go. So 5.56. 56. Okay. So this is the actual size of the GoPro. Relatively. So I need this to fit in here. A different color so we can see it. I want this to be accurate. That way, I guess it doesn't matter. No, because then it'll be easier for when I measure. Okay, this. Funny that it doesn't fit, though. Suspicious. Okay, close enough. And that means this needs to be a lot smaller. That's going to be the same size. But let's see where'd my inches go? Where'd my inches? There we go. Okay, so that's going to be... Again, it's like just over an... yeah, just over an inch and 3/4. It's not quite at the next one, though. That's the problem. It's like right in between 3/4 and 14/16. No, 14/16. God, let's do math. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 16. 13/16, which is 8/1. So I need one to be shoot, I already forgot. 8/1, that's saved. I forgot what the inches was. Oh no, boo-boo. Oh, it's not even 1, so it's just 0.8. Okay. So it's just whatever's on the calculator. So it's just 0.8125. Let's see how far this goes. I don't think it will go that far, but 0.13. Okay. So now this needs to fit inside this. Which, if we're looking at it like this, that's the top. So let's take this down here, that baby up there, because this one's gonna go. Fit that in there, shall we? Get it in there, close enough. Okay. Okay, then we'll have this there, and then this needs to be. Oh right, we'll have the back as well. This needs to be. I mean, the back will be easy because it's just screen. I don't want to cover that up. There's like a little thing up here for like plugging access, but I don't need like space down here. I can cover the screen. Not super important. But I do want it to hold. So this needs to be the size of whatever this is. 0.813. 13. There we go. Oops. Copy, paste that. I'm gonna push it to the other side, so this will be over here, and that'll be the back. Huh? Maybe I'll come back and like actually put it. It's fine. I think we can measure it out because there's nothing. There's like the battery side on this. I think this is a speaker, which I'm not really care if that gets covered. If I wanted to, I could make sure that it doesn't. And then on this side, there's just the button. On the bottom, I've kind of I already kind of screwed that up, but you know what? It is what it are. All right, that should be good. Let's make these layers. Anyways, what I was saying from my Valentine's Day, yeah, we got the pork, we got the steam buns, and then after that we went to the word is called, it's like a soma place, but it's basically those little like fish that's like a waffle, but like clamp like a filling inside, and this place specializes in doing like ice cream and like custard fillings, and those were really, really good. So I got a couple of those, and I brought them home, and the next day I was able to put them in my toaster oven, because I have like a nice, big toaster oven that's like you can bake in it. You can bake like cakes and pizzas and stuff in it. So it crisped up really good, and they were really good. So that's what we did on the Super Bowl weekend. And then last weekend for Valentine's Day, like I said, I like to like stay inside because I don't like to fight, to go places, and it's just not fun. Plus, I don't really like. I like the sentiment of Valentine's Day. I don't like the way people celebrate it, where it's just like, because like I like to come in and I basically like I cooked a bunch of food. Like I got this new. Let me see if I can bring it up. It's like, I think it's like a Japanese. I got it for Christmas. Japanese deep frying pot. What else do I call it? Yes. I got one of these bad boys for Christmas. My girlfriend got one of these, and it's really cool. It's like an all-in-one, because like deep frying, obviously amazing, but if you ever tried to deep fry it, or even tried to like go about it, it's just like I don't do it because it's such a pain in the butt. It's super messy. It just gets everywhere. Dealing with the oil, the right temperature, it's such a big pain. This pot solves all the problems. It has a obviously you see this pot has a lid, so basically any popping gets caught, and then like if popping occurs like up, it just comes back in. I maybe had one or two little specks here and there, versus normally which is like it's all specks everywhere. So it keeps it in. It has a built-in thermometer which you can put in so you can get temperatures exactly the way you want it. It has, this is the best part, it has a cooling rack, so as you're frying you can put stuff up there. So I ended up like double frying things. So I would fry, fill this up, this is like, it looks small but it's actually quite big. I was able to fry a lot, put it up there, put the next one in while they're in there, and then swap them out to double fry, and it worked. The grease all just drips back into there. And then the really cool part is you can't see it, but on the back end here there's like a little notch where they have bent the pan, so you can just pick it up, pour it into whatever. I just poured it into a couple empty bottles. Super easy. It just makes everything super easy and clean. I was super excited, so I made some tempura recipes, and I did which I'd never done before. I'd never done chicken karaage, which is basically just Japanese fried chicken, and that's what I double fried. Oh, it was so good. It was so good. It was so easy. I also did for the tempura, I did like eggplant, which is probably one of the best vegetables that I had. It just kind of like melted in your mouth. It was so good. I did asparagus, I did mushrooms, and I did, God, what was I'm blanking on my brain. It was the first thing I did. Oh, sweet potato. All came out really good, and it was just so easy. The craziness about it was so easy to clean and stuff like that, and I still have the oil. Like I had a couple of, extra wine bottles and alcohol bottles, because obviously I'm into making cocktails and stuff. And I was able to just, get a little spout, poured super easy. I had a little mesh strainer, and like, got reusable oil. It's super easy. It was all really good. I made the usual dipping sauces for tempura. But then I also did. I'm a really fan of the spicy chicken, not spicy chicken, spicy sushi sauce, which is usually on a crunchy roll, which is basically just Japanese mayo, sriracha, soy sauce, some sugar, and then I added some dashi, which I made homemade. Dashi is just basically what's the word for it? Soup. God, I don't know why words. I have had a long day. Words are escaping me right now. The thing, broth. It's basically that's what it is. It's like a broth that you use kombu, which is dried seaweed, and you use fish flakes. And so I made that, homemade that, and it came out so good. It was so easy. The shrimp was I got shrimp. The shrimp buttered up so quickly. It just makes frying so easy, which I'm a little concerned about that now that I have access to easily frying things now. Little concerned about that, but not, we'll keep it in check. But anyway, so I had that. I also got into, when I was talking about the speakeasy that I went to the weekend before that, they had this really good, like, slightly, I guess pickled, but it wasn't super pickled, like cucumbers, which is what pickles are. But it was like little tiny ones that they had cut and halved, and they had just like, you could tell it was just like slightly pickled. And so I looked up a recipe and kind of made my own, where I used daikon, carrots, and those little tiny cucumbers that I sliced up, and I made, using vinegar. I used rice vinegar and various other stuff, and I put like chili, crispy chili, a little, I forget her name. There's a little old lady on it. That's the one I like to use. And I had made that like 2 days before, so it like wasn't pickled, but it just slightly got the flavors infused. So I had that as like a little side thing. That was really good. And then I made fried rice, which I'm making fried rice. Like I'm so good at making, fried rice. And I used teriyaki spam, eggs, and I like to put carrots and peas in mine. And I used day-old rice. And it was just all really good. And I, of course, had cocktails. There was like a cherry theme to some of the things that I got. She really likes those cherries that she really likes the cheap, the little like neon cherries, but I got like really, really good ones that were like barrel aged in bourbon bottles in Kentucky. But yeah, so I had cocktails. I basically did like a cherry infused Singapore sling. But anyways, I did a lot. It was fun, and mostly it wasn't just like, because it's Valentine's Day. I like to do stuff like enjoy cooking. It's fulfilling. It's fulfilling to like take ingredients and to make something out of it. But anyways, the whole thing is like I had my ingredients, but I did like 1 or 2 ingredients I needed to get that day, that Friday after work. And I went into like a store just really quick. I was like, I just need these 2 ingredients, and it was just pandemonium of like people just buying like flowers and shitty teddy bears and like crappy chocolates, and it's just like I hate that. I hate the whole like just like the cheap phoniness of it. Like again, I like the idea behind Valentine's Day of just like, it's a special day that we take to blah 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 blah, whatever. Even though I kind of do that on a regular basis, which you probably should do on a regular basis, but I just hate the phone. Like, I will never buy flowers. I will never buy flowers on Valentine's Day because I think it's corny and cheap. I will never, unless my girlfriend out of the blue just absolutely had to do. Oh, look, someone to ban. Someone to ban. I was wondering. It has been a while. There we go. Ban. Love banning people. Feels good. Indebted beer. Banned. Oh, wait, I can double ban him. We just realized that. Now I can ban him on this. By getting all the fun. Oh, wait. How did I do that? I just did it like a second ago. Oh, there we go. Yeah, double ban. If only I could triple ban him on Steam. Oh, wait, can I? No, it'll just do the thing. You guys on YouTube are getting really knocked around because you get to see all that garbage. Anyways, where was I? Oh yeah, I'll never buy flowers. I'll never buy cheap little teddy bears or like the cheap. It's just there's no effort. It's like if you're gonna do that, why even do anything? Why even do anything? It's just I hate it. I hate it all. But yeah, I was just in the store for like this is why I tried to not go anywhere on the actual day or like the close weekend because it just makes me depressed. But yeah, so anyways, that's what we did. We just hung out, you know, those days. We just hung out Friday night, just cooking. I was cooking food, just eating and drinking and laughing, having a good time, and it was all good. And then yeah, the next morning I actually got, since I got the teriyaki spam to cut up to put in the fried rice, I also got this maple breakfast spam that I had seen that I was always kind of curious about. Ended up actually being really good. It was not bad. We made Belgian waffles and eggs and hash browns and all the accoutrement. But we tried the maple spam. Spam is good. Spam is good. But yeah, it was nice. It was subtly maple flavored, but it wasn't like great. Like one of the things about spam, it's meant to enhance flavors. It's not really meant to be like a main dish. And this was the same. Like the maple was like there. It was subtle, but it was there and it was nice. But it just kind of matched all the other breakfasty stuff. And so like some of the syrup kind of like, you know, from the big thick Belgian waffles like spilled over, you know, onto the plate. And I kind of like sapped it up with the meat, and that just made it better. Like, I was kind of like, is this gonna make it gross or? But no, it was just good. It was just all good, so good. Yeah, we just hung out. Ended up, you know, hanging out and eating good food, and then. It was on Sunday that we went to, my girl, like, we were blood donators, and so, it was time, and she had made an appointment I had forgotten, and usually, like, you have to have an appointment where, you know, if it's not, like, a pop-up, place, but this time I asked, I was just like, oh, is this appointment on? And they seemed kind of not busy, and they're like, oh, no, you can do it. So I was like, oh, good. So I went and did it. And I give blood all the time. Like, it's not a big deal. I never have any problems. I never have any issues. Don't even feel it. Never woozy, never sick, never nothing. Except for this time. This was the first time that I actually, like, had problems. And to be fair, I wasn't planning on giving blood. And it was, like, about almost midday. It was, like, at 12. Well, I guess it was midday, 12:30. And I hadn't eaten anything, but I had eaten like really late the previous night, and I wasn't hungry. But that maybe was the reason. I have my own suspicions what the reasons was, but anyways, I go through the whole thing, and they test you, they give you blood pressure. I always score really high, like good, not bad. My blood pressure's through the roof. No, I'm always like way above like what good is. I'm always way like really good. Which is why I donate blood a lot. But everything was fine, and they hooked me up, and I gave all my blood. It was like I filled up my bag. Everything was fine. Everything was good. And then if you don't give blood very often, they'll take the blood bag, but they'll also usually fill like a couple of vials of your blood so they can test it in case you don't make sure you don't have anything. But yeah, basically, yeah, make sure you don't have anything. But to my recollection, because I've given blood so many times, every time I do that, it's usually like 2 or 3 vials that they fill up for testing, and they usually always do it before they do, they hook it to the machine that fills the bag. But this place, which was the Red Cross, but it was just a different area than I usually give blood. But they did the blood bag first, and then they had 6 vials to fill, which when she came out to the thing, I was like to do like after I'd given all the blood again, feeling fine, as if I had nothing, wasn't tired, woozy, didn't feel it. I never feel anything giving blood. This was the same. I had filled up my bag, we were done, she pinched the thing, and then she was like, oh, I gotta fill these tests, and I was like, oh, okay. And in my mind again, I was like, well, that's odd, usually they do that first. Then I was like, oh, I've never seen 6 vials before. But again, I was like, there's nothing. It's like, I'm fine. But as soon as she starts, so she had pinched the thing, and then they stick a little extra thing in there, and so that they can, pump it into the vial. Is basically what she's doing. As soon as she starts doing one, she's like starts it, stops it. The second one starts and stops, and that's what I think. I think it was the starting and stopping, because as soon as she got to the second vial of like ink, 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 I was like, ugh, like I could feel something in me just like, ugh. And then by the time she was like at vial 3 and 4, I told her, I was like, whatever you're doing, this is the starting and stopping is making me feel woozy. Like I don't feel good. Like it doesn't. She's like, okay, well I'm almost done, and and then we'll see whatever happens. And but by the time she filled up the 6th one of being like ink, 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 start, stop, start, stop, start, stop, I was like, my eyes were starting to like darken, and I must have like looked not well, because she immediately was like, oh, we need to lean you back. And like there was like 3 other nurses on top of me already, like one already putting like a cold press on my thing, one like lifting my legs up and being like, here, do little like kicky things. And I felt terrible. Like I didn't pass out or throw up, but I really felt like throwing up or vomiting. And I had to sit there for quite a while, where they had to like get me up, and they were like trying to figure out what was wrong. And they were like, well, it's probably because you didn't eat anything, which probably added to it, but I think it was the starting and stopping, because like I said, I was fine, just like normal, until they started like, and maybe it was because they did it afterwards. Whereas normally, like I said, it's usually 2 or 3 vials, and they do it at the beginning. So maybe once I'm, haven't lost my blood yet, the starting and stopping doesn't bother me. And then, then they do the blood bag and I'm fine. I never feel like, they always like, say, sit, and they give you snacks and stuff. And they're like, make sure you're okay. And I always sit there for like 5 minutes, but I'm usually just, it's kind of like for their benefit, not mine. Like I'm usually fine. But yeah, so I think that was it. I think it was more the starting and stopping 6 times after I had already emptied myself of blood that messed me up. But yeah, it messed me up really bad. It took me like, probably while I was there, like an extra 15 to 20 minutes just staying there. Which doesn't seem like a long time, but it does when you're just sitting there doing nothing. But then afterwards, like I didn't leave. This was like at like a mall, sort of, where I was, and so I kind of we just went to go get food afterwards. So I was able to sit for, an hour or so afterwards, but it took like a good 5 or 6 hours afterwards before I felt normal again. Like I wasn't like about like nauseous or like, oh, I'm gonna faint. But I just felt like weak, like as if I had like worked out intensely. Which again, I've never had that happen before, and I give blood, multiple times a year for decades. But yeah, it was weird. It was really weird. So I don't know. And we'll see the next time. The next time I can give blood is 2 months from now. So we'll see. I'll just make a note. I'll just remember to like remind them, be like, hey, I'll just tell them like, hey, last time they did the little vial thing. Not to tell you how to do your job, but like maybe we could do the little vial thing first and see how that works out. And then yeah, also like being, I guess, more prepared. But like I have given blood before too. Granted, it's usually earlier in the morning, but I've never had any problem with not eating something beforehand. But we'll see. Anyway, so yeah, that was rough. I did not care for that. Just because, yeah, one, like, never going through something like that before, and then just, it was not fun. But it was fun. Ended up being fine. We ended up, like, walking around the mall for a little bit and checking some cool, got some cool stuffs, stupid stuffs. I don't know if wherever you live or whatever, but where I live, like, we have like, old, big malls that are basically, like, dying, which malls are dying everywhere, but they've kind of gotten all taken over by like Asian inspired shops or attractions, I guess I should say. Like most of it's empty and kind of sad, but like the stuff that's like popping off is like, we have like Daiso stores, which is Japan's like dollar store type thing. Or we have like there's another one, I forgot what it's called. I have a bag over there. I forget, but it's like a Daiso store, but it's not Daiso. We have 2 of those, and then we have like just various different styles of like mostly Japanese, where they just sell Japanese stuff, basically like cute, stupid, and a lot of anime stuff and whatnot. We even have our own like gachapon place where it's just wall to wall gotcha, like little turn things. And I got some cool stuff. I got this little Kamen Rider, like a little mini chibi guy. He's got his own little motorcycle, and he's got a big head. It's cool. They got like a bunch of like other, fun stuff. There was like a lot of Kamen Rider stuff in this one for some reason, but there's like a little cat that has a Kamen Rider helmet on. But yeah, that and like a lot of like just claw machine things and claw machine things and gotcha stuff, which is basically, and a lot of like, we have several like little stores that just fancy vending machines, I guess. Like there was one that like there's the one that like makes the cotton candy thing and they like will make it into shapes. And then there's the like popcorn ones. And then they had one that was like just a vending machine full of like Asian ice creams, like ice creams you can get if you go to like an Asian market or whatever. But that seems to be like what has been taken over, which makes sense because that's what sells. But yeah, so we walked around and got some fun stuff. And so I got more of the little, don't know, I don't personally buy them, but it's something that people buy them for me, which I like. The little they're like cats. It's like a little figure thing where it's like cats, but this one's like Naruto and his sage is he goes full on Super Saiyan. God, it's been so long since I watched Naruto, I forget the terms. But they do Naruto, they do One Piece. But I saw like I have a little Cody, but they're like little cats. Like he's like a fold. Sorry, my camera doesn't focus. It's set focus. But they have now not just they only did Naruto and One Piece, but now they have Gundam. It's of course it's always a gotcha. So you get random boxes. I didn't get a Gundam one. I got a stupid officer one. But we'll see. I really want a Gundam one. Instead of being in they have like the little helmets, but instead of being in like a Gundam robot, they're in little boxes. It's just pretty funny because they're cats. But yeah, we walked around and it was fun. And I'm getting I apparently can't talk and work at the same time. Maybe this won't work. Because I can't talk and work at the same time. Can't do two things at once, which is apparently true. That's apparently multitasking is a lie. You can't multitask. That's just not how your brain cannot focus on more than two things at once, or one thing at once. That's a lie. A lie that they told us, yeah, you cannot multitask. Unless you're like having your computer do something while you do something else, but then again, that's not you. That's your computer doing something in you. So, but yeah, we'll see. This has turned out just to be I guess it is actual just chatting. Oh, for realsies? This is gonna be real hard to do color with these glasses on. To get an accurate color. Just realized that. So yeah, I kind of want to keep some of the like accents. This has a little the black coloring accents. I'm getting rid of all the silver. All the silver's got to go. But some of the rubber can stay. This has a little panel over it that's black. So, and then like see these little lines. I think that's there's like another line up here, like right here, and then there's some like dots here. Here, let me move this over. I forget that you can't see everything that I see. So we'll see how much. I think I want to keep this black. So I want to create this. So they're going to be like a little thick, the pieces I'm going to use are going to be like little square pieces like this. Oops. Can I do this? Yes, I can. Ooh, boop. Look at that. So they're going to be like little pieces like this, basically, that I can... Oh my gosh. There we go. Okay. They're going to be little pieces like this. You know, that stay on. That's so it's easier to see. They're going to be little, you know, chunky pieces like this that I add on to it. I don't want to go too high because, again, I do want to keep the low profile. But the nice thing with these is these can be beveled or shaped. So we could get interesting shapes. But I am going to need to have some sort of this sticking out. Like if we go to here, kind of actually. This a little bit more transparent. Okay. Stop. There we go. Okay. So like if I take this, like this is a little chunk square. I kind of have to go beyond it a little chunk square, which is going to be more measuring and more. I guess there was no point in, because yeah, I won't know how far to like extend this out until I know how thick of the card. It's not cardboard. It's not cardstock. It's, what is the term? How thick the board is I'm going to use, basically. I won't know. So it's always going to be a little bit thicker. But trying to keep in theme of, like, you know, bizarre little extra things. Let me pull those. And not so much that one. Oops. That. This is more like uniform, you know, like it's just got little, like, it's uniform but with little cuts in it. I don't think I'm going to do that. Just because, one, I don't think it'll work. So there's going to be, obviously, little raised. You know, it's going to be more like this. So there's, like, parts that are raised throughout. So, let me actually pull that in here. Of course, it's ginormous. Ginormous. Okay. But yeah, the mall was fun. It was good. It was good, like a good respite. Like I said, I was thinking about, you know, like, oh, maybe we should like put out a video, but like I said, there was nothing really to watch. Nothing I wanted to see. I did watch something because I did have planned to put out a video. I ended up watching what is it? Primeval, which was the Netflix show that came out, and I think in the middle of January. And it was about basically kind of like the West, an American like West expansion in the 1980s, not 1980s, in the 1980s, West expansion in the 1800s, my 1800s. Focusing like around mostly the West, but also like one of the big threat was like the Mormons and how they did things in there, and it was called Primeval because it was supposed to be like showing the brutality and viciousness of the West, which obviously it was, but it was very sensationalized. I want to see how big this is if it's 0.25. Oh shit, that's big. That's real big. But yeah, it was very, actually, well, it goes over the edge, and then we can, oh, man, I'm just worried about adding another. I guess it wouldn't be that bad. Only 0.25 of an inch. Oh, 0.25 is big. Oh, I'm looking at something different. Ooh. Ooh, 0.25 is pretty thick, actually. Maybe not. Maybe. Let's have. That's about 0.125 inch. That looks a little bit, but then it won't hang off as much is the problem. Maybe it will have to be 0.2. I mean, it'll be easier to do a 1/4 of an inch. Man, is it going to stick out a lot. Do we really want to go in between those two? Make it even more complicated for us? There it is. 3/8. Do you want to go 3/8? I mean, 1/8. That is, I believe that is 1.35. Yeah, that's too small. 3/16. 1/87. You know what? Let's type the whole thing because then it kind of round. 1/875. 1/88. Okay, did go with 1/8. I think that's a little better. That is a garbage. That is a garbage measurement, but all right. Fair enough. Okay, so if we do that on this side, then we got to do it on the other side. Anyways, get back to Primeval. Ooh, this is the hard part because of I don't want to obstruct, and it goes so tight. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to design this here, and I'm thinking about it. I mean, I can design it, but like, I don't know if it's worth doing like accurate. Oh! I dropped it. Oh, but it landed on something soft. Nice. Landed on some cords. Got caught in some cords. Nice. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to get as accurate as I would like. I think that's going to have to wait till I actually get the board, but I can design like roughly what I like, what I want it to look like, and then we'll just have to go from there, which is unfortunate. I really thought I'd be able to like get the schematic of it out, you know, because I'm eventually going to have to lay it all out and be like, this has to be so and such, this has to be exactly, this is inches. Anyways, the Primeval was very sensationalized. There are parts of it I liked. Some parts got kind of boring and repetitive. Yeah. So Primeval, basically, it revolves around the time of which is a plot point in the thing. I forget what it's called. The Daisy Massacre? The Daisy Meadow Massacre? I forget the exact name, but basically, the massacre where the Mormons massacred a group of settlers that were going by, and they tried to hide the fact that they did that. They tried to hide it under, you know, they used hired, you know, Native Americans and dressed up like them to hide the fact they were Mormons killing people, because that's what Mormons did. They did that a lot, actually. And this is one of the cases that actually got attention because they killed, you know, white settlers, but they killed a lot of other settlers. And they massacred a bunch of Native Americans. But that was, you know, par for the course, I guess. But anyways, so this starts off with that. And quite honestly, I mean, and then it follows like this woman and her child as she like, that's like the main, I guess, story, but it was the most uninteresting part of the story because the story follows three plot threads. It follows the woman and her child, and we learn that she's wanted for murder because she killed the man who she was with because he was abusive and violent towards her, and then once he was abusive and violent to her kid, she murdered him. But he was from a wealthy family, so she has a bounty on her head. She's trying to make it out west to escape the bounty, start her life. She's getting chased. The other story plotline is the group or one of the people that they're all part of this massacre that happens. She was traveling and got brought into this group to try to get west, but she was part of this. The other group is there's this couple, a Mormon couple, who a lot of Mormons are going to the Promised Land in Utah under Brigham Young, who is a real person. And they're all trying to get to that, and so that follows them as they are part of this, and them, one of the, him and his wife, and him coming to realize that his people are responsible, and then his injuries and how he deals with this, and then her being captured and traded amongst, various Native American tribes, and blah, 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 blah. That's probably like the second most interesting. The third interesting is the exchange, which has no real violence, really, between the Mormon leaders, Brigham Young and his, second in command, and they're trying to buy this fort that is owned by a guy, I forgot, not Fort Briggs, that's a One Piece. I forget what the fort. It's a famous fort, it exists. He wants to buy it because he wants to burn it to the ground so that the U.S. militia, the U.S. Army does not like the Mormons. Nobody likes the Mormons at this time, because they do awful things. Like, if you hear from any Mormons, they'll be like, they hated us because we were too godly, because we were too good of people, which is very reminiscent. If you ever met a person who's like, I don't understand why people hate me. It's because I'm too nice. It must be because I'm too amazing that they hate me. And then you're like, if you ever come across someone, they're like, oh, it's because you're probably awful. And you're like, oh, yep, it is because you're awful. That's why people tend not to just randomly hate people. It's usually for a reason, unless they're like really famous. Like, there's a weird, sometimes when someone's like really famous or popular for whatever reason, sometimes it'll generate hate because people will feel like they don't deserve, whatever they get for being famous. But if you're just a normal person, then if you're getting a lot of hate, it's probably you. But yeah, the Mormons, the reason they're hated is because anywhere they would go, if you know history time, anywhere the Mormons would go, they'd basically say like, oh, God gave us this land and it belongs to us now, regardless of whoever's on it. And so if you had a home on it, and they would knock on your door and be like, this is ours now, so you should give it to us because it's ours, because God says. And then you, of course, being like, no, you can't just have all my stuff. They'd be like, violence! Now we can do violence on you. And then this created a perpetual cycle of, Mormons causing violence wherever they went. And then feeding into that, being like, well, wherever we go, there's violence. It's like, yeah, it's because you're the one doing it. And so it just created this perpetual loop of them causing constant violence. But so they're not liked. And he's kind of trying to do that. This is the most interesting part of the show, is the exchange between Young and the guy who owns the fort. There's no violence. It's just them talking with these subtle, like, things, context clues and things. But them talking about, he wants to do this, and I think that is the most accurate thing in this show. Obviously, this is a dramatization, so you're like looking for historical accuracy is stupid. But I did like the part where that was the most accurate part, where like how Mormons dealt with other people, how they would come in and be like, well, it would be really nice, if you would, where I'm trying to be cordial here, but like at the end of every conversation, which the guy who owns the fort says, like, I feel like you're missing an or else at the end of that statement. Because that's what the Mormons do. They would very much be pleasant talk, smiley, but it would always be with a threat of imminent violence because they had a huge army. And one of the only armies out west, so that was the most interesting part, was the exchange between the fort owner and the leader of the Mormons, Brigham Young. That was the most interesting part. There was just, again, it was very sensationalized, and with the woman and the kid, she like kind of ropes this one guy into, who's like he knows the land, or he was like raised by Native Americans. He's been out there. He knows the land, but because it's like 8 episodes, I felt like they may have felt like they had to have action every episode, but it was like, this one man like has to kill between 5 to 7 people every other day. And I was like, if you just did the math, if it was that bad up there that everyone who survives had to at least kill 7 to 5 people every other day, there wouldn't be enough people. But again, I know it's the show and they gotta sensationalize, but it was just like, you know, starts off with a massacre, they survive, and then it was like, and they run into, you know, bounty hunters, and he's got to kill them all, 7 of them, and then he runs into other people, these like bear people who are kind of like, you know, hicks in the sticks, and they've heard about the bounty, and so now he's got to kill all of them, and then they run into, you know, some hills have eyes French settlers who kidnap them and are gonna eat them, and it was just like, oh, you gotta kill all of them now. It's just like, how many people is this man gonna massacre? But again, I understand why they you know, they probably, you know, they wanted to have action and stuff, but it was just like, it just got old really quick. I was just like, oh god, here you're gonna have to kill another 7 people. It was just absurd. It like got into absurdity. But yeah, again, my favorite parts were the exchanges, the like, you know, subtle, like threatening, but not getting into the violent part between like the Mormons and the army that were there, supposed to try to stop them from doing what they're doing. And, you know, just like how they kind of had this like, this kind of like higher brow, like maneuvering pieces and giving out what information, you know, and subtly threatening each other without overtly threatening each other, was way more interesting than, you know, the guy having to kill 7 of the Hills of Eyes French hillbillies that are gonna eat you. You know what I mean? It was just way more interesting facet to it. But yeah, it was good. Other than that, it was good. Like all the acting was really solid. I mean, the I forget her name, the actress who plays the woman with the son, she's the mom in Dune, not the mom, but the seer in, no, she is the mom and the seer in Dune. I forget her name. She has like brown hair. She's English, I think. But anyway, acting was all great. The costumes were super good. All really, really cool. Like I said, all the sets and stuff were cool. All the props were really good. They had like actual effects in this, and they did a lot of the cool work with the camera. So like a lot of times the camera was as if you were a person in the action. So it was a lot of like shaky cam, not too shaky because obviously they have steady stuff, but like in the attack, like you were like a person in the attack, like running with them and like getting under, you know, it was very like POV, which was really cool. I liked that a lot. But again, a lot of like sensational, like, you know, everyone's a crack shot until they're, you know, fighting the main characters. You know, a lot of like people standing around and talking, then all of a sudden like a perfect arrow will come out of nowhere and like hit them perfectly right in the forehead, like right here. But then of course when they're fighting the hero, they can't hit anything. It's just like all over the place. But so a lot of that nonsense, but it was mostly like it was okay. Like I said, it got a little old, but luckily towards the last couple episodes we're just like, oh, okay, he's gonna have to kill more people. Like that's when the little like subtle tit for tat of the Brigham Young and the guy who owned the fort like really amplified. So that was the best parts. We're just like, oh, what's he gonna do? How's he gonna get away with this? Is he gonna kill him? Like, what are they gonna do? And that was really cool. But yeah, I saw it again. I don't know. I don't really think it. I just don't really have much to say about it. That's why I didn't do a review on it. Plus, like I said, I was having too much of a good time on Valentine's Day to personally care about that. But yeah, it was all right. It was only 8 episodes. They were like an hour long. It was all right. It was all right. I did like I said, I like the best parts. The best parts were the little like in between them, you know, haggling and you know, testing each other and things like that. That was honestly the best part for me, that I thought. Then the rest of like, you know, the fighting was okay, and the fiction. Like I heard, the only thing I heard was like, obviously, like I said, this wasn't meant to be like historic. Like it did have things in history, like real, like the massacre of the Mormons. It was real, but the funny thing was, of everything like being over sensationalized, like what, like, you know, the violent, you know, him having to kill the Hills of Ice people and the bear trappers and the bounty hunters and this is random Native American tribe and blah 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 blah. All that being like, and everything else being so, and the violence being so overly sensationalized and dramatized. The funny thing was the actual like event that kickstarts the massacre, the Flower Meadows. I think it's called the Flower Meadows Massacre. I forget. That's bothering me now. I'm gonna look it up. See if it pops up. I think it was the Flowers Was it the Flowers? Flowers Meadow? I don't know how to spell massacre, so we're gonna do that and let Google finish the rest. Oh, yep. It was the Flowers Meadow Massacre. Did I spell massacre right? No. What the heck? I did. Mountain Meadows. Mountain Meadows. It was the Mountain Meadows on Flowers. So close. But I spelled massacre right. Wow, that's really good. But yeah, the actual massacre. The funny thing was, as much as like they showed them like attacking them and killing innocent people, but the real massacre, if you want it, it's all documented. The one thing that happened in a time when, you know, we were documenting a lot of stuff. It's very well documented what actually happened there, and it was the real thing was way worse than what was depicted in the show, like by a lot worse. Like in the show, they show them, you know, like coming in and, you know, women and children and men, innocent men, getting, you know, shot and arrowed and beaten to death and scalped and all that, because they wanted to make it look like it was a Native American attack. They show all that, you know, them just being savage and just killing anyone, children and stuff like that, young children, which they did in the real one, but the real one was like in the show, it takes place, for obvious reason, it takes place, like the massacre takes place over like 20 minutes. In the show it's over like 5 minutes, but it seems like it's quick, but in the reality, the real one it took over like a couple days, and because the sellers were able to hold their own, because there was a lot. There was like, I think they say like 120, but it was like 100, between 120 and like 200 and something. Like there was more than what they want to let on. But anyway, so there was a bit of a standoff at some point where they, and the Mormons were afraid that they were going to get caught, because they, you know, the longer they're there, the more they're going to know. And then the word gets back to, you know, the U.S., because this is all U.S. land. U.S. government comes on, they're going to get rid of them. They're going to, you know, get rid as they should. But so basically what they did, and this is like a bridge version, basically they like got into peace talks with the settlers and said, hey, if you know, lay down your weapons and leave our land, because they thought they were like claiming, and Mormons were claiming as their land. It was not. They're like, you can leave, we'll let you leave. And so, you know, after massacring them and killing them, they're like, we just want to go. We don't, because they're just settlers trying to get to the West Coast. They're like, we'll just go home. And of course, this was a lie to get them to put down their weapons and come out of their makeshift fortifications. And what they ended up doing is basically killing them all now, because they had no weapons, except for they didn't kill any child that they thought was under the age of 7 or 8. Because they weren't monsters. Gee, I wonder why people don't like the Mormons. Gee, I wonder why they don't. It's weird. Yeah, so they massacred all the women and children that were over the ages of 8, because they didn't think. And that was there was like a plot point in the show where in the real life, one of the ways that they were able to figure out the Mormons did do this was that they, the people that they killed, they kept their like jewelry and keepsakes and things like that, and they had them on them, like their watches and jewelry. And so some of the kids who survived, despite like they thought they were so young they wouldn't be credible witnesses, but they were able to point out, like, that was my mom's, that was whoever's, and that was not the thing that caught them, but it was one of the many. And they were really sloppy, and it was obvious they're the ones who did it. And so with some of the, you know, leaving the kids alive, they eventually, you know, were rightfully charged with this. But of course they just kind of, you know, gave a fall guy I forget his name, but Brigham Young. It was obviously ordered by Brigham Young, and he was completely in control the whole time. But you know, he just gave a fall guy, you know, one of his, you know, leaders of his men. He was just like, "You're gonna take the fall for this and get hung for me, okay, buddy? Good job, good champ. You'll be rewarded in heaven, I'm sure." But that was a plot point in the show, but obviously not with the children, because in the show they just showed them killing everybody except for some of the women. But that was a plot point where, like, one of the guys he sees he's holding a watch that when he knew one of the guys that was his, who got massacred, so that's how he kind of figures out that the Mormons were behind it. Plus them, you know, again, being very sloppy and being very obvious that it was them. But yeah, so the real massacre was way more gruesome and awful than what they depicted in the show, which I thought was kind of funny, because obviously the Mormon church did not like this show, because Mormons tend not to be fans of history. You know, they prefer fiction, which is funny if you know anything about Mormon history. There's a lot of Mormon fiction writers. In fact, it's like a occupation that's sought out by many Mormons in their colleges and stuff, is to be great fiction writers, which is funny. But yeah, so they did not like this, but like I said, I just thought it was odd, because I expected that to be in the show, because obviously there's a show about the massacre that the Mormons did. I expected them to be, since everything else was so over sensationalized, that this would also be over sensationalized, but this was the one thing, the massacre that was under sensationalized from reality, which I thought was weird, or not weird, but like funny, ironic. The one thing that was actually terrible they underplayed, but everything else they like cranked up to 1 million. Just like people dying for random and just general lawlessness that wouldn't actually work in reality. But yeah, it was all right. Like I said, it was mildly entertaining. I think if you don't care about anything and you just want to shut your brain off, I think it's good. Turn your brain off entertainment. You know, a lot of plot armor, a lot of the hero winning, because when they're going up against the hero, nobody can shoot a straight shot. You know, a lot of that. Just kind of like, okay. And a lot of, like, you know, hero getting shot or stabbed being fine, but then regular guy getting shot or stabbed, always instantly dead. A lot of that too. Was just like, all right. Like, all right. I think I'm gonna keep. Well, I really can't do this. So okay, so now we know this isn't gonna work for the future. I'm gonna keep trying to do this, but I can't apparently talk and work at the same time. That's wild. That is wild. Yeah, I've been looking at all. I've barely done anything. All right, so I know I want a thing around this, because that's what's gonna connect to, like, you know, I mentioned this will be like extended, and then this will like come out here. Oops. You know, and so like this part will glue to this part to create like a housing. This is going to be like a permanent thing around this. Then I'm just going to, yeah. I know I can take this off. The only thing is I'm worried about this coming through some of the writing of the GoPro Hero 4. But and I don't want it to be like too thick, because I do want to, like, I've made things look old before, like stress them out, but I've never done it on like this type of surface, so I'm kind of worried about not the GoPro, but the papery-ish nature of what I'm going to use around this. So I'm kind of wondering if I should use something else, but I don't know what else I would use, because like plastic's going to be too thin. I'm not making this out of clay. That's just stupid. Could like 3D print, but then I gotta get someone to 3D print something, because I don't have a 3D printer, so I'd have to hire someone to 3D print. Honestly, I don't want to do that. I don't have to make specific. I'd rather just make it myself. But yeah, we'll see. Maybe if I put like before I paint it, if I put a sealer on it so that it will double seal. That's an idea. That's an idea. But yeah. So this will all be. I made it see-through so you can see, but this I think I'm making this all cream color. Keep this black, even though it is a lot of black. I would like to maybe, because I really like this, the sides being white, you know, Even orange looks pretty good, but like the sides being white with the inside being the camera color, I really like that. Like this is cool. I'd really like to do something like that, but then I have to really paint all this. It'd be really hard to get it within the lines, you know? I know this pops off. I'm kind of afraid to break. It's already like kind of broken in one area right here. So I'm kind of like, all GoPros seem to break right here. It's a little like hot right here. I'm kind of worried about snapping it off, but it would, that if I could do that, it would make it easier to paint this thing orange and then keep the rim of it black. So like if I took this, then we already have a lot of orange, you know? Thing is like oddly oblonged. I don't care for. That. Yeah, it's like a weird shape. So if we keep and then keep this black. Orange. That's the problem. I'm worried about like this overlapping and looking weird. Because this has to be orange as well. Because this will remain black. Problem is, should I add like another... No, just to make it more like a case. But then I'm adding so much orange. Yeah, I think I want to keep this. Keep that black. Oops. I think it'll just be too much. Wow. Wow, grab that. Would you think? I think it'll just be too much orange. You know? Does this? Ooh. Like, this is so close to the edge. I could also, you know what I could do? You know what I could do? Ooh, that would be such a pain, though. I could extend this. Like, oops. Extend this to, like, over beyond, like, to completely cover, like, cut this out of paper. The problem with that would be... So, like, what if this didn't? But yeah, see, the problem with that, it would have to be so big. I could do something like that. The problem would be making this flush. That would be, I'd have to cut. This would be like one solid piece. I'd have to cut that completely. That might be rough. So like I could paint this, keep the line, this little bit would stick up. I mean, it's not the end of the world that little bit sticks up. The problem is though that this, remember, is going to be raised up, and so you're gonna have remember, like on top, like there's gonna be an extra piece on top as well. That's gonna be the only issue. You're actually gonna have more than that too. I just realized, because you're gonna go up to here, because this is also gonna have a little bit. But like, maybe we'll make... So like, yeah. So you're gonna see this little bit here, which will be cream colored, and then this will be orange, but I've painted it. Is this the same? This doesn't feel like the same size as this. No, it isn't. I didn't think so. Okay. But yeah, this is gonna continue on here. Maybe it won't be that high, but... Oh wait, this won't continue. No, it won't, because it'll be cut off by the circle thing. And then in the middle of this will be this lens part that will be unchanged. Wow, a lot of colors in there, huh? Okay, so it'll look something like that with the lens inside. That could be interesting. I won't center it because there's... But yeah, that'll be the lens. I'll have a little bit of extra. Probably won't be that high though. Probably more like that. So you're gonna see some there. Not crazy about this. Unless... What if... There's another part... Another thing about adding this is... Which will help, is you can't tell on here. But... So if we look at the space between... Like this silver space between this edge and the black part, and then we look at the silver space between, you know, silver space, this edge and where the camera starts, it's different. It's different sizes. This is thick. You can just see it. This is thicker than this size. It's about twice as thick. So the problem with that is the little thing that we would taper up would look weird. So by doing this, we can keep it this thicker because it's not going to go all the way up. It's just going to go into this, and then we can make this get flush with the black. Which is this round? Is round. All the round edges. And I could always paint that, I guess, the little tiny corners, like get a little micro brush, or I could paint it before I glue the things on, and make it orange so it doesn't stand out. But it would be cool. The only problem is this button right here. What I wanna do, I guess I could make it really thin. I can make it really thin. But like this could come up to here. This come up to the black part, and then I could have this. The only problem is I don't want it to be touching there, which is going to kind of be impossible. So, and then I could make this. I think it would be cool. The problem is this is going to touch. It's going to look stupid. Maybe I could, you know what? I could sacrifice the black right here. So it's just black there and there. That would give me more space. And then it would be cool if we could kind of incorporate these like layers that like serve no purpose. You know. This is gonna be a lot. I'd have to measure this out so much, and then I could use cardboard, not cardboard, but paper, and then because like this would all be one piece, one piece. Hold on a second, wait. Nothing. I just need to blow my nose. Bother. Sorry about that. No, it was just bothering me. Okay. So I could add these extra little, like, you know, accent pieces. This is the button, by the way. This is the button. Put the little, you know, a little button is a little, this thing. This will be orange now. The problem is we're losing a lot of black. I mean, there's not a lot of black on this, but I guess the cream color, and I could like scratch it up, you know. And I could actually, I just realized like I could take an X-Acto blade, which I'm going to use to cut, and I could like chisel lines into this plastic. Like, you know, I can make kind of like, you know, what you see on here, which is like these, you know, pointless lines that don't serve any purpose, but they just look cool. I could do a lot of that. Like I could take, you know, it would be the cream color, but like, you know, slightly darker so you can see it. So it would be stuff, you know, like, you know, just creating lines for the sake of lines. You know, out here. Could do that. Just to make it more interesting. But I think it's gonna look interesting as it is. And again, obviously this is just rough colors and things. But I think it'll be cool. I think it'll be cool, like once I get in with the paints and like really distress it, you know. I think it'll look cool. And I'll be able to, like I said, with the magnets, I have to build. I forgot about the screen on the back, which will be good for filming, obviously, when I'm holding it in my hand, but not when it's like on me. They don't want it to be permanent. That's really the hard part. Because yeah, if we have, let's take a look. If we have, you know, this is pretty much the screen. Eyeballing it, but actually, well, the screen has like a black hair. So this is interesting. So the screen, actually, it's more like, this, but then it has like a second, like the actual screen is this. Oops, step it. The actual screen, get out of here. The actual screen, this one actually goes, yeah, about there. So the actual screen's there, so I can actually put something there, and if I do it, thing is, I don't want to cover too much of the screen, but at the top here is all like the important like memory. So I can like, this is obviously like if I have little, oops, if I have little magnets, which I can actually measure. Ooh, they're so strong, which is good because that means I won't need to probably use one, but I'd like to use two. Honestly, they're strong. These little guys are strong enough. They say they can hold 20 pounds. I kind of believe it. So I mean, two, that would be 40 pounds. Just, you know, the GoPro's not even a pound. So, okay, so these are. Why is everything? This is 9/16 of an inch, not half. 9/16. So 9/16, great. see. What is 9/16? 56.25. Okay. 56.25. 56.25. Okay. Ooh, that's pretty long. Yeah, that is. Oh gosh, it's bigger than I thought. Oops. Oh no. Okay, you can get out. Okay, so this is the magnet. This is how big it is. I want it to cover the screen, which would mean obviously putting it here, like putting, you know, putting these here would make the most sense, right? Of course, then now there's going to be little, you know, weird circles coming out the back of this. Makes the most of the only thing that I'm concerned about is, and then you have these high power, like 2 high-powered magnets near the, because again, this is on top. So the magnets would be so the magnets would be here. They'd be sticking on here, which is really close to the memory card. Again, I could just be dumb, but I have no basis in believing that magnets would mess up memory cards. I'm just basing that off of old technology where magnets, like when we had like VHSs and cassette tapes, you never wanted to get magnets near them because they could screw it up. But obviously we're not dealing with it. But I don't know, I just always have this thing in the back of my head, like don't get magnets anywhere near like your medium. Otherwise it could screw it up. But there might not be a thing to that, so who knows? But yeah, I would like it to be down here. Of course, then we're going to be, especially on this side, we're going to be covering up a lot of prime real estate, or like move, you know, taking up room. You know, we could. There is, you know, wait, no, I'm looking at this. There is, it's more like this. So we could go, you know, be losing a little corner over here. So it would still be here, but this, it would be, this one would be the close-up. So oop. Yeah, this one would be the farther down one. This would be the closer one to the thing, but then it would be a distance away. I would like that, and then it would be more secure, obviously, the, you know, 2-point diagonal. The only thing is it would be hanging off. Actually, I mean, I guess we could keep it within, you know, both. Because up here, there's like a little, plug-in thing up here, but that can be this little thing right there. That's for like jacking in a screen, or other stuff, controls, but don't really need that because you can control it with your phone, and it obviously already has a screen. So we don't need that. I think that would probably be the best. Configuration. I could also, you know, give it a bit of a buff by bringing these over here so they would actually sit on top of that, and then down here I could make, you know, a square like this. So it sits, you know, on top, and I could actually, you know, round this so it's like a double. You know, honestly, I could do something like, man, this is all going to be cut, so I can, anything, you know, I can dream of, I can cut. Like this could be rounded, but like, do this. So So it'll all be uniform. This right here. Oh, I can just cut that up, yeah. So yeah, it could be like this. You know. Again, losing more screen real estate. But it's at the bottom. Oop. I left the magnet on the screen. It's not attaching to it, so there's nothing magnetic in this, so I mean there is, but this doesn't seem to be messing it up too bad. Okay. I think it'll be fine. I think it'll be fine. We can lose the top mom, because remember, like, I'm mostly using this for this, you know, the square, the 4x10, you know, 4x3 aspect ratio, which will be cut, you know, so like I won't see this part, but obviously it'll still be there on the footage. But yeah, so I think it'll be fine. That could look cool too. Like we could have these little like boop boop boop, and then that could be the. Plus, it would stabilize it more, you know, because this is the part that's going to be pulled on a lot. Because then I could really super glue this paper thing to that and super glue the metal to it, and we can continue on, you know. Hold this. Oh. Yeah, we could do it there as well, and then continue. Continue the pipe on the side like that. Maybe make these a little bit longer to cover up the black, and then this is black too. Maybe I cover up that whole thing. Maybe I really make this stronger. That would actually make more sense if I really just covered up this entire. Because I'm never going to use that thing, the little shade plugin, so like this. So I might as well not even have it. Yeah, and then it can look like that. And I can paint the magnets white. So these could be. Oops. So these could be beige. Like that. Yeah, I think that'll look good. Yeah, I won't have too much beige on the back, but I was like, I really don't want to paint now on the screen, because this is the main screen where you can see stuff, but this is like that. It's like the glossy. You can kind of see how like there's two layers here, like the actual screen is versus like this like border. I'm sorry, I don't have batteries charged right now, but so I don't want to paint on that, because I just don't think it'll look good. But on this, then we'll have like two, and they'll stick out, and they have like, you know, they have like little textures on them. See, like it has like rings inside rings. So depending on how I glue it on, you know, which way I glue it on. Oh no, looks like it has to be glued on. Oh no, okay, so one side can be, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, and then yeah, for like the inside of my shirt, I'll have to measure it out. It'll just be, you know, probably like you know, something like this. Probably painted orange. It's a little thing. Maybe I'll round it, but it'll probably just be something that has, you know, the two magnets on it that will clip on inside my shirt. I'll be obviously longer because it'll be elongated. I'll have to actually like measure it out, but yeah, so it'll be a clip on the inside. Maybe I'll make this out of like actual like really thin wood instead of the inside of the frame stuff that I'm planning to make the other stuff out of. But yeah, this is gonna look. I think it's gonna look good. I think this is a good start to it. I am bummed. Yeah, I don't think streaming this was a good idea. Not because I don't think it, but just because I can't seem to talk and do things at the same time. I can seem to talk and play video games at the same time, but apparently I can't talk and work at the same time, which is a bummer because there's a bunch of other stuff I wanted to design. Like I want to set up my car for car camping, because I have a mini little SUV type thing. It's not a mini SUV, it's just it kind of is like a baby in SUV, but it has the back seats go down and it's long enough you can sleep in. So I kind of want to make, I want to get back into camping, but like I've always kind of not liked tent camping. One, because it's just a hassle to set up, and then it just gets covered in, it doesn't keep the bugs out. It just gets covered in bugs, and you take it down and it's all, like freaking earwigs and stuff just pour out of the pipes, the pole. It's gross, and it just doesn't feel safe. I just never liked camping in tents. Like, it doesn't keep out the elements. It doesn't, obviously where I live, I'm not having heavy duty tents, but I never feel safe. I just like the idea of being in the car better, since my car is there anyways. Because, there's not too many campsites that, where I live, you can't just camp anywhere. You have to be on a campsite, so. Plus, I live near the beach, so, there's a lot of parking along the coast, where you can just park on the coast and do a little beach camping. That would be fun. So, I am looking forward to do that, designing all that. Like, I really like designing things. But I'm actually going to make these. So, but yeah, I think this is a good start, if you will, to all this. But yeah, I think the next thing, I got all my materials pretty much. The only thing I need to get is that certain board so I can play with it, like cut it and see what it actually does. See what it actually does, how it behaves. See how like real I can get these things. But I like that. I like it. I like where it's going. I think it's gonna look really cool. I like this idea of this fanning out, like this retro, like maybe I'll make this like really thick, because I can, I'm gonna cut it to fit around this camera part, so I can actually make it really thick. That might be pretty cool. Like double it up, maybe. That would be cool. So I'm excited for that. I'm excited. I think it's gonna be a cool little camera that I can bring around with me. Just film and not worry about quality or anything like that, because it's just for funsies. And maybe I can use it to make videos. Like maybe I'll actually like film myself doing my car builds. I'm thinking about that. Thinking about maybe doing like little vlog things and stuff like that, because I don't know, like I said, I'm getting real tired of, like I mentioned at the beginning of this stream, getting real tired of how YouTube is going and the type of, the incentive to try to trick as many people to absorb your content just for the sake of eyeballs. It's just, I don't know. It's kind of, maybe it's because just years of it, it's not anything new, but I think maybe just years of it is just starting to finally like wear down on me. And it's just like, I just don't like it. There's a lot of stuff like that. Like, I talked about like when I do like my shorts and stuff, I won't do a lot of like grabby things designed to keep, like I never put text, the text, like, oh, the text to speech bullshit. I hate that. If I see a video where there is text on the screen that is basically just saying what you were saying with your words, with your mouth, I don't watch the videos. I just immediately click off because I hate it. I hate that because it's not there. Like I understand, like it's really good for people who are like deaf, so they can read that. But it's like that's not why that's put there. That's not why the words are put. The words are put in there so they can trick you into paying attention, and I just hate it. I'm just so sick of all that stuff. So we'll see. Maybe I'll start making videos just to be like counter YouTube to the opposite of what you're supposed to do. We'll see. That could be fun. But yeah, for the first part is getting this camera up, because I'm not going to start using it until it looks the way I want to do it. So I really got to get on this design. I need to get some paints. I need to get cutting. I just need to get cutting and cracking. Just need to get cracking and cut. But yeah, I think it'll be good. I think it'll look good. I used to be really good at distressing things, making them look old. So I'm excited. Like, obviously I'll paint it. I'll probably do a couple layers. And then you do like a light wash of like some darker color and let it like kind of like go wherever it wants. You kind of scrape it off, and I don't think I'll be able to sand, which is going to be an issue because that's the materials. I really wish I could find like a thick, just like plastic sheet about that thick that I could just carve and cut, but I don't think something like that exists. I don't think that exists. Let me see. Actually, you know what? Why don't we just... The masker, that's good. Thick. Oop, and I'm all in caps. Yell it. Thick plastic sheets. See, that's not thick enough. That's pretty thick. At least it looks thick. Ooh, a 1/4 inch thick. Okay, well, hold on a second. That's actually... Well. Asking thou shalt receive, huh? Plastic sheets. Ceiling. Look at this. Buy plastic and boat board. Marine grade. I don't need to be marine grade, but... Interesting. The question would be how easy this would be to cut. And this looks like a manufacturing layout. 1 piece each. It looks kind of extra, like whatever they used to cut this did not cut it. It has to be, I have to be able to make smooth cuts. That's the only caveat. What is this? I don't really care about chemical. 12 by 12. That's what I need. Oh, you can get the thickness 3/16. Six by 6 inch. Probably all I need. $2. We're gonna get that PayPal. Let's see. $2. Yeah, 6 by 6. I mean, that's way more than I need. This thing's barely. That's right. It's really true. That'd be like way more than I would ever need. Due to cutting earth width, all pieces have cut tolerance of point. So that's the problem. I'm worried about how hard it will be to cut. Wood grain. We get wood grain? Ugh. I don't need anti-skid. That's my only worry. Oop. Industrial plastic and not manufactured visual specification. I don't know what that means. Does not come with protective masking. Okay. May have scratches and other surface. That's fine. I like that. High gloss smooth. That's pretty cool. Maybe I'll test. I mean, it's only $2, but who knows how much shipping's gonna be, right? I'm asking for quotes. They're probably not just gonna send me one sheet. Ship today? Well, they just send me one sheet because I just need one sheet. Maybe I can be like, hey, I'm looking to buy more. Can you send me a sample? No, don't do that. Can you send me a sample? See these reviews. Came oversized by about 3 minutes in thickness. Great fixture. Okay. Ooh, thickness. Came oversized. Maybe. Oh, well, now I have a thing. Maybe I can use plastic. The other problem with this is I'm worried about... Plastic would be cooler because it would be hold better. I'm worried about the cutability. Oh, look, they got all kinds of plastic. Yeah, I'm worried about like how, because I'm like, you saw this, like how like, you know, fine of cuts I'm gonna have to do, and I just don't like, you know, the only thing I have to cut is an X-Acto blade, which I have a couple of them, but like cutting through a thick, I mean, cutting through, plastic would be better. Honestly, it would be better to 3D print this, just to like spec it out in 3D print. Have someone just make it. I mean, I could design, I could model it completely for them, but might take longer than I would like. It's fine. I think it'll be cool though. I think it'll be worth having this little cool guy. Having this little cool guy, especially if I can just pin him onto me, because that way it's like, you know, not inconspicuous, because obviously it's gonna be painted orange and look like a thing on me, but that'll be cool. I think it'll be fine. I obviously don't want it to be too hitting, because I don't want to like trying to like secretly film anything, but it would be nice to have it hands-free. Plus, then I have this little, you know, attachment, which I'm planning to paint all this orange and white as well, to match this when it is, you know, when I'm holding it with my hand, you know, like this. You know, so it'll be, I think it just looks more interesting to hold something like this. And whatever, but yeah, I think it'll be cool. I think we're off to a good start, but yeah, I'm probably gonna have to, obviously I'm gonna have to design more on my own time, just because I can't talk and design at the same time. Learn something new every day. But yeah, I'm excited about this. It'll be the next project after, obviously, the drinking one is pretty much done. This will probably, this will be done by the end of March, if not the middle of March, because I want to get this, ball rolling on this stuff. So, I mean, I guess I could just do it as is, but the magnet thing, obviously I can't attach it till I know. Maybe I'll order that plastic stuff. Probably. Yeah, it's a couple bucks. Bucks. Test it out. Yeah. But yeah, I think that for this stream, that was a good test. Yeah, I can't design and talk at the same time. It's a bummer. Yeah, it's a bummer. But yeah, for next stream, we'll go back to doing games, because obviously I like to do games. I'm excited for that. For the Yakuza game to come out this week, but I won't be able to play it till next week. Kind of a bummer, because I don't stream on Thursdays, and obviously we're looking to finish out Core Keeper with the boys on Friday. Hopefully they can all come on so we can finish that, and then we're gonna have to think of a whole new game that we can play on Fridays, which I haven't even gotten to look into that. Just realized, but we'll find something. I'm sure there's something out there we can play. But yeah, I think for now, I think this is where I'm going to end the design of this. Oops. But yeah, I think we're on a good start here. I think it'll look really, obviously this looks, you know, rough, but blocking out the design for the rough, once we get the materials, then we'll be able to a little bit know what's more possible, like how thin can I actually cut these pieces. I'll get both. I'll just get both. They're both like, they're both like under $5. I don't know why. I'll just get them both, and then we'll see which one works better. Yeah, we'll just have to see. I'll see. But I'm excited. I'm excited for the builds. I'm excited for the car build. When I do that, which will probably be the next thing after I get this done, I'll start working on the car build, and then yeah, that's I'm chugging away on my goals. Chugging away all the goals I want to do. I already pretty much got one down. This will be done in the next couple of weeks. Car one's gonna be a long one, and the writing projects obviously are year-long projects. But I'm excited. I'm excited for the future. Excited to change things up. Yeah, it was a good test. It was a good test for this stream. Let me go pop over. Pop over. I think it was good. Let me save this. Save this. So bad at that. I always like go for it, and then like it'll screw up and be like, oh, all my work gone. Let me just save it real quick. Make sure that I got it. All right. But yeah, Wednesday, I think I want to do, there's a couple of free games that I have that I've been wanting to play. So I'll probably I'll have those, and then I'll probably gather a whole bunch of free games from itch.io. I'll try to steer away from horror games. I mean, those are the ones that come out the most free, are horror games, but they do come out. People put out a lot of free games, so try to stay away from horror games. I do that a lot, but we shall see. We shall see. Wednesday should be good. Not gonna, like I mentioned, not putting out a video this week, a review video, just because, like I said, I already went over why. But next week definitely, because I am gonna watch The Monkey. I'll put out a gameplay video, so we'll at least do that because that's easy and that's fun to do. But yeah, I think that's gonna be it for this stream. Gonna do it for me. Thanks everyone who popped in. Thanks for all those people that I banned. That was fun for me. And thanks for all you dirty little lurkers in the back who didn't say anything. We'll have a good, dirty little lurker here. And if you'd like to hang out again, I usually stream every Monday, every Wednesday, every Friday, and randomly on the weekends. Come here and check me out my main streaming platform. That is YouTube, or you can watch me on Twitch or Kick, wherever you feel is best. But if you want extra stuff, like I mentioned, extra videos, you know, at least one extra video a week, sometimes two, a lot of times two. And then a short every single weekday. Plus, all my previous streams are back cataloged forever on YouTube. So if you want to see all that, it's all there. All cataloged and named appropriately, blah, blah, blah. All good stuff. So if you want all that, it's all on YouTube. As I keep saying, that's going to do it for me for tonight, and I will see you someplace else.